Hello, everyone. I am Elizabeth Wasco, Chair of the PHSS Foundation Board of Directors. I want to thank you for attending our 21st annual Salute to Laudable Londoners event, even in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. I am standing in our terrific community place, so our donors have the chance to see one of the results of their generosity. Although PHSS receives provincial funding, it doesn't meet all the needs of the people we support or cover the cost of activities that enrich their lives. PHSS Foundation helps to bridge that gap and support the highest priority needs of PHSS. An example of this is the Project Hope Day program, which was in a building in downtown London that was not ideal for the program's participants. It was small, not in good condition, and had very little parking. Seeing the need for a change, the foundation was able to purchase land in North London and build the community place, a fully accessible, two-level building perfect for the day program's activities and flexible enough to be used by community members who need an accessible space on evenings and weekends. Because of the support from our annual events and the generosity of donors, people who attend the day program are able to relax, play games, do crafts, participate in physio, enjoy sensory activities, and access community activities in this beautiful open space. Staff also come here for training, and our community is able to rent the space on evenings and weekends, hosting birthday parties and baby showers, games night, yoga classes, and more. COVID-19 has put a pause on all of these activities, so this is a perfect location with lots of space for distancing and is prepared as a quarantine space for anyone waiting for COVID test results or isolating. Thank you again for your support. Because of donors like you, we were able to build the community place and then qualify for an Ontario Trillium Foundation grant to finish the lower level, effectively doubling the accessible space available for use. Whether the need is supplying accessible transportation so people can participate in community activities, supplementing funding so people can go on their dream vacations, building a new home to help more families, or building a two-level community space, your support makes a difference. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce a great friend of PHSS and first Laudable Londoner, Bill Brady, to be our MC. Bill Brady.
Thank you, Elizabeth B. I was going to leave my mask on. There's been a lot of push for me to leave it on. I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. I've been a great fan of Participation House, as it was once known, and subsequently have watched with amazement and a sense of wonder at the growth and the relevancy of what it does for this special community. This is a difficult time. We live with these things. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this hand stuff, but I've used it a lot. It smells a lot like alcohol, and well, it is. And what I'm concerned about is being caught in the ride program after doing just my hands, and they'll give me a breathalyzer. But fortunately, my two new friends are both lawyers, so I'm sure I'll be able to get away with it. I guess what attracted me first to become interested in Participation House was I saw the move to provide dignity and support to special individuals in our community who, in many cases, have no other option except to be sheltered at home or worse, in one of those ubiquitous institutions that seemed to spring up in the 50s and 60s. Fortunately, this has broken that pattern, and now these individuals, men and women and young people, have a chance to live with dignity with others. And I admire and salute the staff of Participation House Support Services. These are difficult days, and they're managing to pull it off and do a great job because they take all the necessary precautions. So we're here tonight to honor two extraordinary people. I've had a long-held view that busy people who have career paths to follow somehow find time to participate in community things that are important. Not just charities, but they end up working as people who are decision makers on boards. And I see people from the London business community and from the health sector and from law and from the retail trade who step forward when needed and place themselves in a position to serve. And I want to talk a little bit about the two individuals who are being honored tonight. It's always good to have a husband and wife team, and I would just love to be around the house sometimes when they are having a dispute with legal ramifications. Are they allowed to speak for a limited amount of time? Do you have to put your hand up? I don't know. Lawyers are not like us. Lawyers are not like us at all. They have a different agenda. But these two agenda includes something far away from what they've done for a living. Graham is a managing partner at Learner, and there's many learners that you could go on. The letterhead alone at one time was 8 feet wide. And I am told that someone phoned there one day, and the phone was answered, Learner, could I speak to Mr. Learner, please? Oh, I'm sorry, he's in court today. Okay, well then how about Mr. Learner? Well, Mr. Learner's at our Toronto office today. Okay, then is Mr. Learner there? Yes, he's here, but he's with a client. Oh, well, maybe I could talk to Mr. Learner speaking. But this law firm has spawned community activity, volunteerism. I'm not there, but I get the impression that everyone who's involved in that law firm are encouraged to do what they think is important. And Graham, who graduated from Western and then the law school and articled at Cohen Melnitzer, probably learned a lot from Melnitzer, which I hope by now he's forgotten. And has been very active in the firm, of course, and managing partner now and chair of the firm. But here's the important part. As busy as Graham is, here are some of the things that he's participated in because he believes in them, and they've welcomed his strength and his wisdom and his support. And Youth Opportunities Unlimited, the Chamber of Commerce, St. Joseph's Healthcare. He's been a board member and a trustee of the Law Association, Homes Unlimited, Canadian Medical Hall of Fame, of which I was at one time chairman and until the audit. And with a reputation of being someone who's available to serve, no doubt he is requested and his time is asked for by many other organizations. It's difficult to say no to these worthwhile causes. And obviously, Graham has selected some that mean something to him and has made an important contribution in this community. Marlene McGrath has just retired as Senior Vice President of HR for 3M. I want her to know that I've tried to use the tape, both video and the sticky stuff, and have found it very, very helpful. 24 years with 3M, for a while living in Minnesota, where she was punished by having to stand outside the office in the cold. Minnesota is the coldest place on earth, next to Fort Francis, where I began my broadcasting career. I asked her tonight if she missed work, and she said she misses the people. And I think that's the key for people who are successful in their given professions, is that they appreciate and care about their colleagues. Marlene has been involved with the Brain Tumor Foundation, the board of St. Joe's, the director of Workplace Safety and the Insurance Board of Ontario, director of McCormick Care Group, which deals with some very vulnerable members of our community, the Ivy Business School group of companies, and was recognized recently as the YMCA Women of Excellence Award in London and the National Association for Female Executives Women of Excellence. And she's a graduate of the Institute of Corporate Directors. Graham and Marlene have been married for 29 years, and they're proud parents of the children are Sean, Catherine, and Claire. And I'm sure they're as proud of them as most of us are about them, because we know how important their contribution has been. Participation House Support Services appreciates their involvement in the community and is delighted that they are recipients of the award and will become the newest Laudable Londoners. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing the Honorable Jeff Urich, who is Minister of Environment and Conservation and Parks, and he will bring some special words to you virtually from wherever he is. Would you please welcome the Honorable Jeff Urich. Mr. Minister? There you are.
Oh, thank you. Just coming up, just thank you very much for having me here. It's great to be part of a virtual event, which seems to be my life. I'm calling in from Etobicoke tonight as we're sitting at the legislature, and it's great to be part of the 21st annual edition of the London Laudables. I first of all want to take an opportunity and just say thank you to Participation House, the staff, for working so hard during these trying times and keeping everyone safe. So thank you very much. I'd also want to thank everyone for being here tonight and supporting such a great organization. What they do truly throughout all of Ontario, and it keeps on growing, is quite commendable. I'm glad to be part of the recognize this year's inspiring honorees. The team at Participation House has done a great job creating an enjoyable experience in a new format. My wife ate all the goodies that showed up at my door on the weekend, so I'm not celebrating them tonight. They didn't make it through the weekend. But this year, more than ever, it's very important that we take opportunity to recognize the generous, community-minded individuals among us who prioritize philanthropy. After reading about Graham and Marlene's careers and contributions, it is abundantly clear that they fit this description well, and the recognition tonight is well deserved. What stands out for me is about their long list of achievements, is that in addition to their own personal and professional successes, they've also devoted a considerable amount of time to empowering others to achieve their own potential. This dedication to serving the community makes Graham and Marlene truly laudable individuals and inspirations to us all. It is often easy to become too closely focused on our meeting and our own deadlines and accomplishing our own goals, losing sight of the bigger picture. But biographies like Graham and Marlene serve as a reminder that consciously building a legacy should always be part of what we do and why we do it. So on behalf of the province of Ontario, I would like to express my sincere congratulations to Graham and Marlene for this impressive recognition, and to thank again Participation House for including me in tonight's program. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening and look forward to connecting with you as soon as it's safe. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Minister. By the way, I've been thinking, I don't want to be distracted from what you had to say, Minister, but you might mention your colleagues in the LCBO. We're on to something with this stuff. A little tonic is a good idea, or soda. At this time, I'd like to call upon the Mayor of the City of London with his remarks. Here is His Worship Mayor Ed Holder.
I'm Ed Holder, and on behalf of London City Council, welcome to the 21st Annual Salute to Laudable Londoners. Our event tonight demonstrates a true celebration of our community. It recognizes many exceptional philanthropists and givers within London and acknowledges their contribution in so many areas of our community. You know, my Cape Breton mom always said there are two kinds of people, givers and takers. And if you surround the givers, then you're going to be all right. Tonight presents an opportunity to pay tribute to a pair of true laudable Londoners who are absolute givers, my friends Graham Porter and Marlene McGrath. Marlene's an example of great leadership. Through her career, she has been an effective force for positive change, including the 3M Women's Leadership Forum. This strong platform of women and men collaborating for inclusion and advancement of women in the workplace has inspired diversity in our community. Now, Graham, as managing partner at Learners, recognizes the critical importance of giving back. With strong ethical leadership, his philosophy has always been anchored in a spirit of partnership, giving, and civic-minded engagement. So, Marlene, Graham, to you both. Your accomplishments are a testament to your deep commitment to our city, and this recognition tonight is so richly deserved. Let me extend my heartfelt thanks to Participation House for your continued recognition of London's leaders and the positive impact that the Foundation has on our city. We live in a great community, and you make it that much greater. Thanks to everyone for attending tonight and helping honor Graham Porter, Marlene McGrath, as this year's Laudable Londoners. Best wishes, and I hope you have just an amazing and memorable evening.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's good to hear from the Mayor. And now I'd like to call upon a friend of Participation House, and certainly a friend and colleague of our two honorees tonight. This is a woman of great distinction. It's been disturbing for me because I've always felt she was quite attracted to me, and it was a relationship I really would treasure, but it's not possible, and I've explained that to her, and I think she's accepted that. Just before she comes up, I want to thank Jerry McCartney from the London Chamber of Commerce, where he's the Chief Operating Officer there, Dr. Jillian Kernahan from St. Joseph's Health, and Susan Marshall from the Brain Tumor Foundation. They've all prepared material. We're not going to read it tonight, but we will be giving it to our honorees so they can enjoy reading it. And I think it's important to take some keepsakes away from this kind of event. Because of COVID, we're not doing it the way we've done for 20 years. And I looked tonight, they had on the screen, and I hope you at home saw it, some photographs of the people who have preceded Graham and Marlene tonight. These are individuals who have been honored by Participation House. And being a laudable Londoner is, in my opinion, a pretty big deal. And I know our honorees tonight will appreciate receiving that distinction. And now I'd like to call upon Janet Stewart to replace me up here. And Try to control yourself when you're near me.
I'm staying well away from it. I was telling somebody that I have given speeches in the past where I've forgotten the glasses and forgotten the speech. I want to assure you, I have the glasses and the speech. Some of you know Amanda Bartlett Hinley, who makes this thing what it is. She's a little, I said this about some other organizer of your type, a little czarina who tells you exactly what you're supposed to do and how to do it. Now, Brady, my secret love, has actually said almost everything about the two of you that I was going to say, so I can just do my little one-liners, right? I want to start off by saying I've been here since 6 o'clock and that we've had a rotating pictures of the 21 or 20 laudable Londoners of the past, and I've seen a little bit too much of Libby and Pete Fowler. So if they're on here, you'll still look good, but not quite as young as the picture that I've been seeing for an hour. Amanda said that that usually these events, there are 2 or 3 speakers who come up and say wonderful things about the honorees. And either Marlene and Graham don't have that many friends, or they had the good sense to know that one speaker is enough. I'm sure it's the latter. I was also told, quite bluntly, I thought, by Amanda, that I was to speak no more than 3 to 5 minutes. But I thought to myself, well, if 2 or 3 people usually speak, that would be 15 minutes. So maybe I could get the 5 minutes. As I said, Mr. Brady, who likes to usurp me, and actually, I should tell you, I once emceed an event that you were honored at, right? Yeah, that was out of my claim to fame. And when I heard he was emceeing tonight, I immediately said yes to Graham and Marlene. So some of what I say you're already going to know, but there's going to be an exam, particularly for the learner people who are there, to see whether you were paying attention. So you can make notes based on my speech. Marlene emerged from the wilds of Northern Ontario in the early 80s to attend the University of Waterloo and Western Law School. Graham emerged from the wilds of London West to attend Western for both undergraduate and law studies. You can kind of see who's the adventurous one in the family. Marlene had a distinguished career at 3M, and as Bill said, she retired in 2018 as Senior Vice President of Human Resources, which meant, and you didn't say this, responsibility for 91,000 employees worldwide. That was my little one-upping of Bill Brady. Graham joined Learners in 1991 as my junior, an expression that we don't use anymore. Because I had just been elected MP, this meant, managing partner, not MP, sorry, Mr. York. Oh, he's just an MPP. This meant that Graham basically ran my practice and I took credit for it. In 2015, Graham was elected managing partner of Learners London office and chair of the firm. For the first 4 years of his tenure, Graham sort of coasted along, but 2020 has been a test for even his considerable skills. Running a law firm in a pandemic is not a job one would pick. Every month seems like a couple of years, I'm sure. In addition to their professional lives, both Marlene and Graham have served their community and beyond. Bill mentioned the boards and organizations that they have contributed their time and talent to. The interesting thing was that at almost the same time as Graham was chairing the St. Joseph's Healthcare Center Board, Marlene was chairing the St. Joe's Healthcare Foundation. Is that right? Tricky. My personal and most vivid recollection of Marlene's philanthropy was her offer to pay for the gin for the Big Sisters Gala evening at Western Fair, provided we bought Tanqueray gin. Marlene and Graham have 3 talented children who thrived, notwithstanding their matriarch was regularly commuting to Minnesota. As an aside, it always seemed a miracle to me that Marlene could dash to make plane connections in the highest of heels. She has them on tonight without falling. In conclusion, if I reach my 3 to 5 minutes. In conclusion, during the many years I have interacted with Marlene and Graham, I have seen how much they enjoy and like each other, how each is the other's best friend and cheerleader. They even have the same taste in cocktails, the latest one being Negroni, so you might have moved on from that. In the words of the dictionary definition of laudable, they are commendable, sound, and praiseworthy. So I was going to end there, but because I know on the chat part of our program, people are going to ask whether this isn't the same jacket I wore at the Women of Excellence. I'm going to tell you, yes, it is, actually. I am trying to amortize the cost of the Marie St. Pierre jacket. And because of this damn COVID, I'm going to sound like Trump, the number of events that I have been able to be present at in the Marie St. Pierre jacket are very few. And the last thing, I'm sure somebody in the chat room is going to ask whether I had my nails done for the. Yeah, no, I only save the nail getting done for when I'm getting honors myself. So anyway, you are 2 wonderful people, and I am honored to be able to speak this evening.
We now have another brief video to share with you that shows the challenges families face and the impact that his move to his PHSS home has had on Alex and his family.
The care requirement for my brother is extreme. You need to be just on and alert, which is exhausting. I'm Jen Cha. I have a brother who's 2 years younger. His name is Alex. And my brother was born with cerebral palsy, which affected pretty much all of his physical aspects, his speech, his motor, his walking, everything. But he's sharp in the mind, and for most part of his younger years, he was quite independent. But in 2004, he lost his balance and he fell, and he became numb from his chest down. He suffered neurological damage and underwent laminectomy infusion and ended up in a wheelchair needing support with everything ever since. And our whole lives have been upside down since then. We had to modify our home. I had to move into our family home. We had to sell our business. We had to sell our home to move into a accessible condo building, and here we needed to modify it to accommodate my brother's wheelchair. The problem we ran into was that his needs became more complex. With the successive falls that he had, more complications from his health, we just couldn't keep up with the complex care that he needed. Our big worry was life. Who knows what's gonna happen? My mom is almost 80, and even myself, like, if anything were to happen to us, what's gonna happen to Alex? It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. It was unbelievable. It was like, it wasn't just saving my brother, it was saving the whole family. When my brother moves to Participation House, we will be able to enjoy each other like family. That's number one. My brother will have his own life. He will have the world open up to him. So far, it was just us. Us at a home, that's it. And I can also now look after myself. And it's life-changing.
It is my honor to introduce Sandra, Regina, and Kelly, 3 roommates supported by PHSS in our very first house established in 1988. They are very active in the community, and they will lead us in our toast to our honorees.
What you do makes our life better. Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. An inukshuk is a structure of rough stones traditionally used by Inuit people to communicate with travelers along the journey. They are a beacon for those looking for the right direction and a safe passage. They are helpful symbols that demonstrate collaboration between communities. We celebrate Laudable Londoners to acknowledge the feeling of community which such persons exemplify. They represent the Foundation's dream for the future, that more Londoners will understand that acceptance of all its citizens is essential to making this a true community. We present our honorees with an inukshuk, the symbol that we feel best represents what community work is all about. Symbolized by the rippling effect of a pebble in the water, a person's contributions benefit for many more people than ever imagined. Congratulations, Marlene and Graham.
Well, I'm overwhelmed. This has just been such an incredible night. I want to thank Janet and Bill and everyone who really put this event together. PHSS, Brian, your leadership, thank you so much. The board of directors, the Laudable Committee, and the co-chairs that put this together. Again, what a incredibly unique event, very distinctive. I hope everybody's enjoying their box out there and all the goodies that are inside. I also want to thank our many friends and colleagues who are participating tonight through Zoom, zooming in tonight. We see your faces. I just want you to know that we see, you know, what you're doing and what you're wearing and what your facial expressions are. So thank you so much, seriously, for your support of Graham and myself, and of course for your generosity with respect to PHSS. I just wanted to do a special call out to Craig Richardson, who is on the Zoom tonight, and he asked to be recognized because he really wanted to give a significantly material donation to PHSS. And so Craig, go at it now. You've been heard, and you can go ahead and contribute. So thank you. I also want to take the opportunity to thank 3 special people. They've been mentioned tonight. These are people who literally grew up supporting Graham and myself in our community giving, and that is our 3 children, Sean, Kat, and Claire. They were very understanding and very indulgent of their mother and father when we were late for dinner because of a board meeting or not available for breakfast, etc., to drive them to school because of committee meetings, or when on Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Wednesday nights we were out at galas or other functions. So to all of you, thank you. So to Sean and Aaron in Toronto, to Kat and Mark in Kelowna and Vancouver, respectively, and to Claire and Tom in London, thank you. We love you, and we are so, so proud of all of you. So thank you. Janet mentioned that I came from the wilds of Northern Ontario. I grew up in a small town up in Northern Ontario, and it was a community. And as a community, everybody pitched in to help and make the community run smoothly. I say with a lot of pride that my mother was probably one of the most active volunteers in town. I mean, she did everything. She was a school board trustee. She volunteered at the church. Of course, she ran the curling club. She really did everything. But where she really came alive were in the charities and the not-for-profits that she supported in our small town. And because my mother was involved and volunteered, of course, I and my 4 siblings also volunteered. So I grew up canvassing door to door for things like heart and stroke, selling daffodils in April, giving blood and handing out orange juice at blood drives. It was an expectation. It was an expectation. We all did it. We loved it. Well, I was very fortunate as I grew older that expectation became a passion of mine. And I have to attribute that passion to 2 main factors. The first and foremost, and certainly the most important, is the fact that I met and married this wonderful man behind me, Mr. Graham Porter, to whom I've been married now for 30 years, Bill. 30 years. We celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary last week, so the celebrations just continue. But Graham grew up in a household that was very similar to mine. His parents, Olive and Hugh Porter, were very active in the London community in things like affordable housing, consumer debt counseling, vulnerable men and women. And so as a result, Graham also grew up with the expectation that he would give back, particularly as he became a professional in this city. It was expected that he would give back. So when we met, it was a common bond between us, and we've really enjoyed giving back to the community in the various opportunities that we've had together. And as Janet and Bill both mentioned, we've been able to serve the same institutions at times, and we've been able even to sit on the same boards at times. And it's been a lot of fun. So Graham, thank you. Thank you for igniting my passion even more so. I think the second really important factor was my good fortune to decide to settle and find a life in the City of London. And I think that London is quite unique and distinct and quite extraordinary. Other adjectives can probably follow. But I would say in 3 ways: the city itself, the people here, and the organizations. The city has philanthropic blood surging through its veins. People give in this community. It's really quite amazing. We're talking individuals of all socioeconomic parts of the city, corporations, small businesses, big businesses, everybody's in the game. And it's something that people get a lot of happiness and pride out of. So it's extraordinary in that way. As both Janet and Bill said, I spent some time away from London, and I really valued when I came back just how much London does in this area. It also has incredible volunteer leaders, community leaders. I think the most famous, of course, is the woman in that stunning jacket who came up and spoke earlier, Janet Stewart. Everyone knows Janet. I think Janet's been on every board in the city. If she's not, those boards want you, Janet. They still want you. Just incredible. And she has spawned numerous people behind her to grab that passion as well and to give back to the community. Janet is also very well known for her incredible network of friends, acquaintances, peers, etc., that she taps whenever she has to raise funds, and then actually records what people are giving. So if you've been tapped by Janet, you know exactly what I mean. She's very, very effective in this way. But Janet, thank you for what you do in the City of London. You truly are amazing. I want to just recognize some other people with whom Graham and I have had the pleasure of serving on boards and giving back to the community. People like Helen and Andy Spreet, Jeff and Margie McCowan, Peter and Beth Watmore, and Wayne and Diane Dunn. Thank you for all that you have taught us. You've mentored us on boards and in organizations. You've made a difference in our lives, and you make a difference in this community. So thank you. And finally, London and its organizations. It has so many world-class organizations with which you can become involved, just incredible, in so many different sectors. Education, healthcare, health issues, social issues, long-term care, just incredible. And I would say with a lot of pride that PHSS stands tall amongst all those organizations. What PHSS and Brian have been able to achieve here in the city and beyond over the time that I've watched them through Graham's, in particular through Graham's involvement, has been absolutely extraordinary and highly inspirational. So it touches me so deeply to be honored, and we are humbled by this honor indeed. So thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it over to Graham.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Marlene, of course, not dissimilar to Bill's speech with Janet, has stolen much of my material, but no, that's perfectly all right. And of course, we are humbled. Although a good friend of mine mentioned when he found out about this recognition, he said, you know, that really just means you're old and you've been around a long time. So it's like, thank you. Yeah, that's great. But I did want to speak a little bit more about Participation House. The first time I became aware of Participation House's role in the community was, I remember this distinctly. I was speaking to Brian, and I was actually holding our newborn daughter, Catherine, in my arms when I was speaking to Brian on the phone. No, I was not in the office, Janet. I was at home at the time. Don't worry. Catherine's 28 now. So, so I've seen a lot of change, and one of the slides that we saw, the growth of the organization has been phenomenal, and it's because they have been so innovative, and that is a huge testament to the passion behind the organization and to Brian and to the board of directors. So it is inspiring to have watched this organization grow over those 28 years. And by the way, that was the same time my picture for this event was, you know, so it's, I look a bit younger in that picture. The next thing I did want to talk a little bit about was, and Bill alluded to this, we were both fortunate to be working at organizations that not only enabled volunteer commitment and community involvement, but encouraged it. Both 3M and learners see the value in contributing to the community. Yes, it makes good business sense, but the reality is it helps make us better organizations and more attuned to the communities that we're working in. It also creates better employees, better citizens, and better people. And better people are the foundation, in our view, of any form of success, because you understand and you have a better sense of empathy, compassion, and respect for all of the people in your community. And that is a fundamental tool of any business or personal success, in our view. That has always been a point of inspiration for both of us. We were fortunate to be with organizations that were so committed to giving back to our community. That led to, quite frankly, our thinking about, as Marlene said, about London. And London really is a remarkable community. Marlene has mentioned a number of the people who inspired us to try to be better people and to contribute to it. And the reality is it's times like these when we're dealing with a pandemic that has been devastating. It's deadly. It's wrecked the economy. It's scarred families. It's made life incredibly difficult for many people, and there's mental health stresses, and it's a traumatic event. But a community like London, because of the organizations that we have, is going to be resilient and be able to meet these challenges. And, you know, again, Marlene alluded to the organizations that we have served on: healthcare, at-risk youth, nonprofit housing. But we also tried to cover the spectrum into business, because an organization like the Chamber of Commerce supports small businesses, especially in times like this. And involvement in education is critical, because that ultimately is the best doorway to equality of opportunity and to a leveling, hopefully, of the inequality that the pandemic is causing. So we are lucky to be in a community like London with that type of resilience. But what we truly believe is that the resilience of London is in its people. And the reality is there are so many people in this city who give in so many meaningful ways, big and small, every day. And that is the true source of our inspiration. So while we are humbled and grateful to be honored with this recognition, the reality is we're not laudable Londoners. We're just Londoners, people who live and contribute to this community every day, and we do it with a sense of duty and a sense of purpose, a sense of humor, and a sense of joy. And that's what makes London a great city, because there are so many people who feel like that. So you would think that that would be the culmination of my speech, but no, I'm about to go off script here because, you know, Marlene and I talked a little bit about her speech. So now I'm going to talk about her. So I, of course, have the last say at the mic, so I get to call the shots here. So this is a great honor for us. But I particularly am grateful because it's really a recognition for Marlene. I'm like in those sports trades, the player to be named later, you get thrown in at the end. Oh yeah, like that guy, and then you forget the name, 6 months later. Marlene, for those of you who know her, and I think Michelle Campbell is on the call, has described her, and other people have used this term as well. Marlene is a force of nature, and it's true. She's fun, she's intelligent, she's determined, and she's charismatic. And I have been blessed to have been able to share my life and raise our wonderful family together. She has always challenged me and allowed me to be my best self. And she does that with everyone she meets, which is why she was so successful. So Marlene, thank you for sharing your honor with me tonight. And I want to thank all of you for taking your valuable time to join us tonight and for supporting this wonderful organization, Participation House. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham and Marlene. Very worthy recipients. And you indeed are laudable Londoners. Londoners, but laudable Londoners. It's good to see Janet Stewart's jacket again after all these years. And also, it's been interesting to watch some of you at home on the screen here in the building where we are doing this. By the way, there's only about 8 of us here, and about the size of a lot of audiences I've had in my work. But I've been watching some of you at home, and frankly, we're all disappointed to see that some of you were drinking. And, well, I wasn't surprised when I saw Dr. Peter Fowler guzzling down. I wasn't surprised at all. However, remember, if you weren't able to get out to the store today, remember it's dual purpose. Participation House has grown only because the need has grown. And across Southern Ontario, there are individuals who are ennobled, they're given dignity, and they're given support, which is provided with great compassion and professionalism, especially during these difficult days. So on behalf of all of those of you who are with us on Zoom tonight, I'd like to congratulate Marlene and Graham for being recognized, as they well should be, as laudable Londoners. Thank you and good night.